It's bound to be another crowded weekend in Metro Manila malls as mayors failed to reach a policy consensus on allowing children outside their homes. Don't throw away your face shields just yet, as private establishments may still require you to wear them within their premises. The Tourism Department welcomes the move to shorten the quarantine period for returning OFWs from yellow list countries. President Duterte rejects the idea of an alliance with Lakas-CMD due to the party's ties with Marcos Jr. And in the U.S., teenage shooter Kyle Rittenhouse was found not guilty on all charges. Fast, focused, and fearless. Here's everything you need to know as you jumpstart your day. I'm Charles Lejano. More people, especially children, are expected to visit malls this weekend after Metro Manila mayors failed to agree on a uniform policy on allowing minors outside. Greg Gregorio with the details.
Metro Manila mayors reached a deadlock in coming up with a uniform policy on allowing children aged 11 and below outside their homes. President Rodrigo Duterte had earlier urged them to regulate the movement of minors, even with the capital under Alert Level 2. But the mayor said the health department failed to give its expert opinion on the matter. That's why the ball is now in the court of the Interagency Task Force.
The unified stand of the local chief executives of Metro Manila that in the interest of consistency in policy setting, the IATF is the best position to decide on the mobility.
But with the IATF still without a decision,
status quo muna tayo ngayon. Full mobility for seniors and minors.
The health department insists that going to malls or any other crowded areas was never part of their considerations in allowing children to go out of their households under lower alert levels, such as the current Alert Level 2 over Metro Manila, which according to them is something that the LGUs and the parents must also consider.
The DOH said minors have been allowed outdoors with the assumption that it's for outdoor exercise, interaction with peers, and daily dose of sunlight. This leaves the burden of responsibility to parents.
Now, going to the malls, going to crowded areas, sana po i-avoid muna yan ng ating mga magulang. Napakataas pa rin po ng tsansa na maaari magkasakit ang ating mga kabataan.
With no uniform guidelines agreed upon, another meeting is in the offing. In the meantime, local government units have the discretion to implement their respective policies on minors. Marikina City is looking to keep children indoors, but for Quezon City, they already need a breath of fresh air.
Bakit paparusahan natin ang mga bata na matagal na naka-lockdown at ayon sa mga datos ay nakaka-apekto na sa kanilang mental health?
Belmonte is instead pushing for stricter adherence to health protocols, especially in confined spaces like in malls. For News 5, Greg Gregorio, we are One News.
The IATF clarifies establishments and private companies may still require the wearing of face shields in areas under alert levels 1 to 3. Acting Palace and IATF spokesperson Carlo Nograles said employers and business owners have the option to impose the face shield policy within their premises. This comes just 4 days after the government lifted the mandatory use of face shields in areas under lower alert levels.
Kaya pwede pong i-require ng mga employers ang mga empleyado nila mag-face shield sa kanilang workplaces at pwede din pong i-require ng private establishments ang mga customers nila na mag-face shield.
The government is looking to allow fully vaccinated international tourists to enter the country soon, starting with those coming from green list countries. The Tourism Department said the move has been approved in principle. The government has formed a special technical working group on travel to prepare the guidelines, which need to be approved by the IATF. Malacanang also confirms that the country will soon accept foreign tourists, and the tourism department also lauded the decision to shorten quarantine days for returning overseas Filipinos from yellow list countries. Starting Monday, the hotel quarantine period will be shortened to just 3 days from the previous 5 days for fully vaccinated OFWs and balikbayans from yellow list countries. President Duterte's spiritual advisor, Apollo Kibuloy, is facing sex trafficking charges in the U.S. Malacanang assured its counterpart that the Philippines will cooperate if the U.S. requests to extradite Kibuloy. Gemma Vansenia with the details.
In a 74-page indictment, a U.S. federal grand jury charges President Duterte's friend and spiritual advisor, Pastor Apollo Kibuloy, for sex trafficking in the United States. The prosecutors allege that Kibuloy and 8 other officials of the Kingdom of Jesus Christ, the Name Above Every Name, or KOJC, of coercing female members to have sex with him under the threat of eternal damnation. The victims, aged 12 to 25, were allegedly recruited as personal assistants or pastorals. Apart from preparing food and cleaning, they were required to have sex with a pastor as part of their night duty. Refusal resulted in harassment and physical abuse. The sex trafficking scheme reportedly started no later than 2002 and continued to at least 2018. The indictment adds Kibuloy and 5 other new defendants to an existing indictment filed in 2020. In a statement released by the Church Legal Counsel, they claim that the indictment is just another attempt to bring down Kibuloy. The KOJC alleged that the people behind the accusations in California were the same people who filed cases against Kibuloy in Hawaii. Presidential spokesperson Carlo Nograles, meanwhile, has assured that the country will cooperate should the U.S. seek to extradite Kibuloy. Nograles also said that it will be up to President Duterte himself whether Kibuloy will remain as his spiritual advisor.
We'll wait for the President's statement regarding that, no? Kasi bago pa lang itong development na ito, hayaan na lang po natin na magsalita si Pangulo tungkol po dyan.
The Justice Department said it will not give Kibuloy any special treatment as the country has an existing extradition treaty with the U.S. For News 5, Gemma Vansenia, we are One News.
We'll be back with more stories after a quick break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News now. I'm Charles Lejano. President Duterte once again caused a buzz after claiming that one presidential candidate uses cocaine. The palace says this claim is backed by intelligence reports. Maricel Halili with the details.
President Rodrigo Duterte accused the presidential bet of using cocaine. Duterte didn't name the aspirant and did not provide evidence to substantiate his claims.
May kandidato tayo na nagko-cocaine yan. Yung mga anak ng mga mayaman. Contribution has he made pala sa Pilipinas. Yan lang, gusto ko lang tanongin ng ano. Hindi naman sabang bakit ang Pilipino parang lukong-luko na supporting.
The question is, why did the president choose to divulge this issue in time for political season if he knows about this case a long time ago? Also, why did the president choose not to name this presidential aspirant? During the event in Mindoro, Duterte also gave clues. The presidential hopeful is from a rich and well-known family. He called the supposed cocaine-using candidate a weak leader. But in another event in Mindoro, the president used the same words to describe former Senator Bongbong Marcos when asked if he would want to form an alliance with Lakas-CMD.
No, I cannot because nandyan si Marcos. Hindi ako believe na he's really a weak leader. Kaya ako sabi ko, totoo yan, hindi ako naninira na tao. Talagang weak. Kasi spoiled child, only son, he's a weak leader. At saka may bagahe siya.
News 5 has yet to get a reaction from the camp of Marcos. But in an interview with DZRH, his spokesperson, Attorney Vic Rodriguez, said they don't feel alluded to in the cocaine allegations and expressed the highest respect for Duterte. Other aspirants, meanwhile, have agreed to do drug tests and even urged the filing of charges. Acting Palace spokesman Carlo Nograles said Duterte has his own intel and has basis for his claims. Still, the palace cannot challenge presidential aspirants to prove they are clean from substance use.
It's really up to the candidates to show that that they've taken the test and that they've cleared the drug test, no? So ang nangyari every election parang voluntary na lamang yan.
Commission on Election spokesman James Jimenez clarified substance abuse isn't grounds for disqualification. COMELEC tried to require negative drug test results in the past, but the Supreme Court chunked it. For News 5, Maricel Halili, We Are One News.
For President Duterte, there is no possibility of an alliance with Lakas-CMD, the party currently headed by his daughter. In a meeting with local leaders in Oriental Mindoro, the president said he will not be partnering with Lakas-CMD because of their alliance with Bongbong Marcos. Duterte slammed Marcos, calling him a weak leader who is not reliable during crises.
I cannot, because nandyan si Marcos. Hindi ako believe na he's a weak leader. At saka may bagahe siya.
The president also maintained that PDDS and PDP Laban will be, quote, campaigning as one. Recall that both Duterte and Bongo filed their COCs under PDDS, but the president vowed that PDP Laban will still have a key role in the 2022 polls.
I assure the members of the PDP Laban and PDDS are one. We campaign as one and we will work as one. Go for continuity, go for victory, go PDP Laban, and go PDDS.
In other news, teenage shooter Kyle Rittenhouse was found not guilty on all charges. Rittenhouse killed 2 men and wounded a third with a rifle during a racial justice protest in Wisconsin last year. The jury deliberated for more than 3 days before delivering the verdict as Rittenhouse broke down sobbing. His trial polarized America, with some seeing him as a citizen trying to protect his city from looters and rioters, and others viewing him as a loose cannon. Ultimately, the jury saw his actions as self-defense, which merited his acquittal. And those are the top stories at this hour. Join us again later at 9 in the morning as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. You can also catch One News on Signal Play. Register for a free account at www.signalplay.com so you can stream One News live anytime, anywhere. I'm Charles Lejano. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. We are One News.